Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Sonic Academy with myself, Nate Robenheimer of Protoculture and Shadow Chronicles. Today we're checking out something new from iZotope. So iZotope are known for the inclusion of their assistant AI functions in their plugins. They're rather clever and very intuitive to use, and this time around they've applied that to the realm of reverbs. Let's take a look at Neoverb. Right, so here we have our first look at Neoverb. Now, a little while ago, iZotope actually purchased a company called Exponential Audio that are known for some pretty incredible reverbs, especially in the post-production circles. Stuff like Nimbus, R4, Phoenix Verb. They're fantastic sounding algorithms, and as part of the purchase of the company, obviously iZotope now has access to those algorithms. So that is what you're finding inside of Neoverb here. And they sound fantastic. There's no question that the algorithms are really high quality. But there's a couple of little iZotope specific spins that they've put on this that really set it apart from other stuff on the market right now. We're going to be looking at the reverb assistant and some of the unmasking features. Now, one thing with reverb, obviously, we're dealing with placement in our mixes of various different channels and instruments and stuff, but we tend to sometimes forget how important it is to make sure that your reverbs don't build up as well. They're essentially other components, just like you would have vocals. You need to address those reverbs and make sure that they sit in the mix correctly as well, and this makes it incredibly easy to do that. Before we look at some of the sort of more advanced features and stuff, I want to just set this up and show you how quickly you can get a decent sounding reverb using the assistant. The first thing I'm going to do is down at the bottom here, you'll see you have a number of different options to link this to other plugins. Other instances of Neoverb will show up here. Obviously, Relay, any Ozone products, Neutron products, you'll be able to set as your target for masking. In this case, I have a Nectar 3 on this vocal that we're going to process. So I'm going to select that. We could also select the dry versus wet, but we'll go with the, just to show you how it connects, Nectar 3, which is on this channel. And let's just hit the reverb assistant and take a listen to what we've got. We'll just turn down that to dry first so you can hear the dry vocal.
We towered tall, we soared. Now there's nothing left to...
Okay, so the assistant begins like this. You can sort of select between realistic and dramatic, and then the size and the tones. And this updates in real time, so if we just dial up the dry wet, we can fiddle around with this until we get something that we like. I'm going to go for something in between dramatic and realistic.
Left of us. Out of touch we swerve. No more us against the world. Against the world.
So we'll stick with clean, somewhere in between dramatic and realistic, and we'll keep it large. Ideally, we're going to probably be down here like around 30%, but I'm going to dial that up in a sec just so we can hear the masking.
We towered tall, we soared.
There we go. I like that. So we'll just click next.
Now there's nothing left of us. Left of us.
Okay, so what it's just done is basically scan the output of the Nectar 3 signal and compare it to the output of the reverb. And the AI picks out frequencies that are most prominent. I believe it actually detects that it is a vocal, and it knows kind of where the most important frequencies are that you need clarity with. And you can see what it's done is it's actually applied an EQ curve to the reverb EQ, which is the output. It also applied some EQ to the input of the reverb as well. So from scanning that vocal, it's picked out frequencies that it felt should go into the reverb. And then the masking. So we have an output dial here as well. And this is how much of the masking gets applied. Let's just take a listen to it now. I'm going to leave it on 0. And we actually dial up the dry signal a little bit to kind of really wash that vocal out. And listen to what happens as I dial in the masking.
Left of us.
Take a listen again.
Out of touch we swerve. No more us against the.
So you can really hear how that vocal is popping out through the reverb, even though we've got a fairly big, long reverb assigned to it. It really just helps to shine those vocals through and cut through the mix. And it does so in a fairly transparent way. You can do sort of side chaining. You can send the vocals side chain to your reverb to duck the reverb, but that can actually net fairly unrealistic results sometimes. I much prefer doing it this way by unmasking it. You can also now change the target for the unmasking as well. What I'm going to do is quickly load up another reverb on another element in the track. Let's jump down here to a piano sound.
We towered, so we soared. Now
So pianos and vocals do take up some of the same sort of area in the frequency spectrum. What I'm going to do is load up a Neoverb on the piano channel quickly. And I, again, want to get quite a big reverb on this just to kind of demonstrate how this works. So let's bring up our reverb assistant.
now there's nothing left of us, left of us. Out of touch we swerve, no more us against the world, against the world.
Okay, so it's done the pre-EQ, the reverb EQ, it's just compared the dry and the wet and given a little bit of masking for the piano itself. But what I want to do now is actually select the main chorus Neoverb that we set up previously. We'll just close that and hit unmask once again.
We towered, so we soared. Now there's nothing.
And then it's completed its unmasking. So what this is doing now is making sure that the reverb from the piano is also leaving space for the vocals. So you can, if your vocals are the kind of the primary element in your mix, you'd want to set that up to as the trigger for the reverb. So basically everything will duck according to what's happening with the vocals. And we play that back now.
We towered, so we soared. Now there's nothing left of us.
Once again, all making room for that vocal to cut through as much as possible. So really, really cool little tool. It's incredibly fast to get this set up in your project as well. Reverbs can get a little bit complicated with all the sends going on, and there's a lot of them. So having this tool to unmask essential elements in your mix is a really, really big time saver. Okay, we're just going to take a look at some of the advanced functions. For this one, let's grab some different content. I'll grab a synth riff that we have playing. So sculpting the sound of the reverb is very easy. You've got 3 reverb sources that you can blend between. I really like these reflections for just kind of adding a bit of stereo width to things and just kind of placing them in a space. I'll just take off the delays. So you can very easily blend between the reverbs. Until you find a happy medium where you want to be. You have some advanced controls that you can open up here. There's a couple of nice features in this as well. So firstly, you've got the reflections. The other 2 reverb types, you can switch between a plate, medium chamber, or a room. And then your long reverbs is a hall or a large chamber that you can select. I really like the EQing on these as well. You have a tilt shift EQ, essentially. You can set the crossover point to where the tilt shift will occur. And let's just push that completely to our room, for example. We'll dial up the dry wet so we can just hear the reverb. So you can kind of skew it to more bright or more darker frequencies. It's quite intuitive, that, as well as a dampening section as well. Another thing that I really like here is the ability to actually sync your reverb tail to your DAW clock. So if you're working with longer reverbs, you can kind of fine-tune it to be quite exact as to where the tail is going to cut off, so you don't have incredibly long reverb tails bleeding through. It's a lot easier to visualize when you have the sync to a DAW as opposed to just a millisecond readout as to where those tails are going to be cutting off, so you don't have stuff running indefinitely in the track. So yeah, some really nice features there. Another thing that I love is the chorus, which is just super quick and easy to dial up. You've just got a little XY pad on the top here, which will increase the depth. And the modulation rate. You also have, for some of the algorithms, this smooth as well, which will just smooth out the reflections in the reverb. And obviously the reverb EQ, you don't have to use the masking functions as well. You can just enable the EQ and use it as a sort of shaping tool for the reverb output as well. And you'll notice that once the unmasking has been done as well, you can actually do that in addition to the EQs that you've set up. So even if we have set up our reverb EQ manually, you can still unmask. And it will pull out frequencies that it feels it needs to correct to get the cleanest results. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up the usage of Neoverb. I think this is a really clever tool, and just the amount of time that it saves you in getting reverbs that do the job, but without mudding up your mix. Like I said, it's incredibly easy to do that when you're working with a lot of stuff that has reverb on it. And this just takes a lot of the guesswork out of setting up multiple reverbs across your project. So that is Neoverb from iZotope. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will catch you guys soon right here at Sonic Academy. Cheers.
Thanks everybody for watching, commenting, and indeed liking. We really do appreciate all the support we get here on our Sonic Academy YouTube channel. So if you found this video super useful, please, we'd love you to hit the subscribe button. We update the YouTube channel every week with new content. And if you want to watch some more relevant content, just click on the videos beside me.